What's up, THB? It's Fans here. So I want to talk about the Meta or Facebook earnings tomorrow. Of course, now it's called Meta. So a lot of people, and especially options channels that I see on YouTube, don't really spend a lot of time covering just the straight up long call option as far as a means of making really quick gains. So what I foresee, because if you look at Meta stock, so it closed down $6 a share today. It's been on a free fall. But if you look at the after hours trading, it's up $32 a share or 18%. And when you play earnings by buying long-term call options, there are huge opportunities to make money when you play it right. So for me, now I got into this a week ago and Facebook or Meta kept free falling from there. So I'm already down like half of the value in the call option. But if you had bought in like today or yesterday, you could set yourself up for a very nice gain tomorrow when the stock opens, because obviously based on the after hours trading, this looks like an earnings beat. So with the stock being up 18%, if you understand the way options work, the call options are going to be up significantly more because the returns are magnified on long call options. So I'm going to show you the position that I got in and a potential of what it could do. So I didn't go a month out because when you go less than 30 days, the theta, which is the like time decay of the option, expands exponentially. So you could be looking at a full loss very quickly because the theta, it's like the classic curve. It's like it just drops straight down within the last 30 days. So I went about 60 days out. So I took the June 17th calls on Meta and I picked a strike price of 250. And this is just for education or edutainment, as I like to call it. But this is a potential to, this has potential to do very well. It's just not advice. So take it for what it's worth. So if we go to the $250 strike price, obviously these are real cheap. These are $1.19 per contract. And you remember you multiply by 10 basically for one, by 100 for 10 contracts. So for the $250 strike price, this was down 25% today, but I anticipate this shooting way up tomorrow. So $1.19. You can see where this has been historically. This was as high as $80 per contract in February. So, I mean, if this ever got back to that, like if Facebook goes on a nice run, let's just say if we were in the market that we were in 2021 and 2020, you would be priming yourself for massive gains. But unfortunately, we're not in that market anymore. So if this does well, you probably are going to want to just get in and out in the same day. Now, the funny thing, I actually, and I didn't make a video on this, but I commented on another channel. I took a position in Blackstone, which is like my all-time favorite stock. I'm eventually going to make a video on that, how well that's done. That's like a 300% return for me. I wish I'd put everything in it. Let's just say that stock has been a gold mine. But I took a call option, making a wager on the earnings that came out last week. And I was up like $1,000 in that option within that day, which put me in the exact same position as I was in the Roblox video. If you go back to November 2021, this was one of my most popular options videos I did. I was up 1,000 and I sold. But in the 2021 market, what happened after Roblox earnings, and because that was behaving like a meme stock, well, it went up another $16,000 in a week. And I felt like a fool for selling, even though I locked in a nice gain. Of course, that gain offset other losses. So it's not as well as it seems on the surface. I'm not going to be one of these YouTubers that talks about, oh, I had this massive gain and ignore all these other losses. I don't want to look like that just for views. I mean, I'll be straightforward and honest. But I was in the exact same position and I thought, and I like, do I sell? Do I hold it? Well, I held it. I got a bit greedy and I should know better in this market. And sure enough, that thing's down today. It was actually up earlier and I tried to sell, but it dropped below my limit order. So I couldn't get out of it. But Blackstone's a good company. Fundamentally, that option's still good, so I'm going to write it out. I didn't put that much in it, similar to the JPM option. Didn't put that much in it, so I'll just probably write it out and see what it does. If anything, it's like I threw $100 away on the potential to turn into a lot more. But as far as this one, so if you were wagering, say, 10 contracts on this, let's just do the math here real quick. So that would be, God, would that only be $119? That's real cheap. Well, let me do this just for fun. I'll go in as though I'm going to place it tomorrow, as though I'm going to place a limit order. So let's see here. Let me go into my app. And if you use Think or Swim, you can practice these very easily. So I'm going to go, let's see, FB. Even though it's Meta, it still has the ticker symbol FB for Facebook. So let's go to, and here I'm doing it on my phone. Let's go to June 17th. Let's pick a $250 strike price. Let's see where the fundamentals on that sucker are. Delta 0.099, theta 0.049. So this isn't great, but if it surges, it has the potential to do very well. So it's actually $1,190 if you were to wager for 10 contracts. For this one, in this market, the most I would go, and that's what I think I actually did, was 5. So that's where I'm at. Of course, I bought in higher, so I'm higher than that. But that's what, if you were to get into this somehow miraculously, if you were to get into this before the market opens, because I'm convinced this is going to open way higher than what it's at right now, unless something happens and the futures all reverse by the time we open. I think that's where this is going to be. So if somehow you put in a limit order and it gets sucked up on the upswing, then you can get in for a cheaper price. But I'm hoping, I mean, we've got to, in this market, there has to be some redeeming quality of this market. And if we can have a decent earnings season or a couple of decent earnings plays, I think that would help a lot of people out. Because some of my accounts, I've always been afraid to do a portfolio reveal, but some of my accounts are getting small enough now where I wouldn't be so afraid, actually. So hopefully we can reverse that trend. The futures here, I'm just looking on my dashboard. The NASDAQ is up higher than anything else. So it could be a good day for tech earnings tomorrow. I'm looking here in the top middle, NASDAQ futures up 154.75 or 1.19. Ah, look at there. There's some what I call synchronicity or a synchronous moment. So why is that? The Facebook option is $1.19. The NASDAQ futures are up 1.19%. So that's an identical number. So if you believe in any of that, that can point to a different sign. That's actually the bread and butter of how I pick my investing decisions. I'm just kidding. I don't do that. I base them on much more fundamental factors, but that's neat that those two numbers match. So yeah, this could really be a good play tomorrow. I'm really hoping it is, because we need some things to go right in this market. So, and like I said, if the stock is up 18%, that call option, and I think I hear so much from other channels about bull call spreads, iron condors, selling puts, selling calls, the covering, mitigating your risk and all that. But really just the old school, straight up long call option, it comes with a lot of risk, but it can come with a lot of reward as well if you play it right, particularly when it comes to earnings. You can have what I call an earnings blast. And we had a lot of those in the market over the last couple of years. Not so many this year, but if you follow this daily, there are opportunities every day. It's almost like a buffet. And unfortunately, even I'm not able to follow it as close as I want to. Not at this point. Maybe I'll get there. The growth of this channel could help that. But I would definitely like to just have, like I've said, have an earnings calendar, pick like all 500 stocks in the S&P or the stocks in the NASDAQ. I guarantee you, if you follow the earnings calendar, some of those stocks are going to be up and they're going to have an earnings blast, even in a bearish market. So that's something you definitely want to follow and stay tuned for. But I'm hoping if the earnings are really good and we have a good day tomorrow, you could have the perfect convergence of factors in your favor to do really well on a day's trade here. And so far, I've been following this. I just filmed another video about an hour ago, and I've been following this here. We're holding at $32 up. So that could be good. If we get to that strike price, remember with an option, The closer you move to that strike price, the higher the delta becomes, the higher that option price goes. It's like a bonus in a way. So let's hope and pray for some good things there. Actually, oh, it updated here. Oh no, wait a minute. This is quarter four. See, earnings confuse me sometimes because this is quarter four 2021 that they're reporting, but we're like, well, we're 4 months through this year, but they missed slightly, but the stock is up. So that kind of changes things a bit. I think if the stock stays up at that level, it might be a decent play if you're in it already. But again, like I say, these are ones that you don't want to stay in for long. With that being said, if you enjoyed this, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and take care and have a good evening.